What's going on, everyone? So, going through this offseason, because as we're moving closer and closer to training camp, I want to go over all the players. I want to go over and give all my predictions and all my thoughts. And I thought a really great place to start, that's not the players. I'm going to get into the players. But I want to start with Mitch Johnson, because in many ways, he's the most important. Obviously, the strides that Wemby takes, so on and so forth. But Mitch Johnson, he has the responsibility of, one, taking over and preceding, Gregg Popovich. I would not want to be that first coach. Let me be like the fourth guy, right? Like, let a couple other guys fail first, and then let me be that guy. To be the guy that directly, takes over for Gregg Popovich, one of, if not the greatest coaches of all time, on a young team that has promise and that people are expecting in the next few years to win championships. I would not want to be him. I do not envy him in any ways, right? Because, not just that, fan bases, period, right? Not the most patient, fan bases, period, or not. They need you to be great. I'm old enough to remember Gregg Popovich getting criticism and backlash and all that other stuff because they didn't think he was the guy and all that stuff, right? So, again, I'm going to be curious to see how this plays out. But in general, right, last year I wasn't really a fan of Mitch. Been very open about that, right? I just think his rotations, his play calling, the timeouts, right? There was a lot of things that were just not great on his end that I felt, I understand that the Spurs kind of, made a promise to Chris Paul, but they didn't plan on getting De'Aaron Fox. Things change. Chris Paul's a big boy. Chris Paul's been in the league long enough, right? To start them and stuff. I understand they're not trying to win anything last year or anything. It's just, I don't know. But I want to be fair. I want to be fair to Mitch Johnson, right? Last year was a weird year. Gregg Popovich goes down. That wasn't expected. And then for a long time, it was kind of is Pop coming back? Is he, what's going to happen? So, Mitch is kind of in this, 1 foot in, 1 foot out spot where it's okay, I don't want to change everything, and then Pop comes back and then he's got to change everything back. So I'm just going to kind of stay the course. All right. Now this year, you're going to have a full training camp, full preseason, a full regular season to now carve out your offense, your defensive schemes, set your culture, your kind of rotations, all of those things. We're going to get to see what Mitch Johnson is as a head coach. Now, again, no one's expecting the Spurs to win an NBA championship this season, but you got to at least make the playoffs. They have a good enough team to at least make the playoffs. Victor Wembanyama is, might be a top 5 player in the league at worst this season, going into this season. You have all the tools. You got an all-star point guard that you're finally going to be able to implement. This is the most important offseason for the Spurs, period, just because you have, the new head coach and you have Wemby with Fox and all these things. This is very important to kind of get things right, set and establish what you want to set and establish, for the foreseeable future. This is very important for this team. So, to me, I really hope that the Spurs and Mitch and the coaching staff in particular, I really hope that they are, ready to and know kind of what they want to do. I hope it's not something where it's we're going to kind of figure this out on the fly and we're going to kind of adjust this, right? I want to be fair to Mitch Johnson. I want to give him a fair chance and a fair shake. Yes, again, last year, there's a lot of things that I didn't like, but that's fine. Right? Last year was awkward. Last year was weird. And then Wemby goes down and then Fox goes down. And it's just it was a tough spot to be in as a coach. That's not this isn't your first year coming in, right? It's not like he started this. It's he replaced Pop in the middle of a season and then had to. So again, I want to be fair. Now this is it. This is your moment. This is where you get to now implement and put in place and do all the things that you want to do to now put this team in a position to have success and win. What are his adjustments like? Is he very in a box, one-dimensional? Right? You see a lot of coaches and stuff, and I've talked about this on the various channels and stuff that I have, right? See a lot of coaches that they only know what they were taught. They only know how to stay inside a box, right? Darvin Ham is a great example. I've talked about him in the past where it's when he's inside his box, he's great, right? He looks like an excellent coach, But as soon as he runs into a team like Denver, where he has to get outside of his box, he doesn't know what to do. He just crumbles and collapses, and it's a disaster, right? But when he looks great, he's winning in-season tournaments and looking like the answer and leading teams to an NBA, conference finals and all that stuff, right? Is Mitch going to be one of those guys? Is Mitch just one of those guys? I mean, we've seen pop tree guys that don't work out at times. We've seen some that have, but we've also seen some that don't, right? So which side is he going to be on? Is he going to be able to stay inside of his box? Steve Kerr, I think, is another great example. Steve Kerr is an incredible coach. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of questions about him just being in that box. And there's been a couple stretches of seasons where he needed to kind of get out of that box, and he wasn't really able to. He didn't do a very good job. Again, got out coached by Darvin Ham. And there was a lot of questions what's going on? I mean, Warrior fans are like, dude, get rid of this guy. Like, the guy he only knows how to coach when he knows how to coach, and now this team's going a different direction. There's a lot of coaches that are like that. A lot of great coaches that are like that. That have been able to just win, but they can only win in one particular way, right? So is Mitch going to be able to make those adjustments and make those changes? Obviously, you need the talent. You need the personnel. I mean, Gregg Popovich is, like I mentioned, one of, if not the greatest coaches ever. And he was the head coach at the helm the last, 6-7 years that the Spurs weren't even making the playoffs or the play-in or things like that. Because you need the talent, right? But the Spurs have talent. It's just putting that talent together now in a way to where you can win. Again, they don't have the talent yet to win a championship necessarily. And it's not that, let me rephrase it. They have the talent. They're just not matured enough. There we go. It's probably a better way to put it, right? I do think the Spurs very well can win a championship in the foreseeable future, right? But I just think Wemby needs to kind of take his lumps in the postseason and stuff like that. De'Aaron Fox, still a lot of questions with, but Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, all these, they're a very young team. You saw OKC. OKC had the talent. They just had not matured yet in order to end up winning a championship. And then they did after taking their lumps over a couple seasons. And now, they're hoisting Larry O'Brien at the end of this season. It's kind of where I see the Spurs at. Spurs are a team that I think, kind of progress, kind of grow and build. And then all of a sudden it's 2-3 years from now, it's there's one, not two, not three, not four, right? And the Spurs are just, they're that team. But a lot of it starts with the coaching staff. Now, I'm not one of those people that like to blame the coach for everything. The players play the games. If you're familiar with me, if you're familiar with any of my channels, if you're familiar with anything, right? I have been very defensive of coaches, period. Right? Because, again, it's the players. You could be the most prepared. You could be you could have everybody on the same page. You could have the best schemes. You could have the best everything. But at the end of the day, it's up to the players to run it, execute it. You can go you got practices and they run it beautifully. Perfect. We're ready to go. Right? But then once you actually take the test, it's up to them to properly execute. There's a lot of people that, you take you take the test, right? And fail it. And it's dude, I can recite the book or the homework or whatever. I can recite it backwards. But every time I get to the test, I fail it, right? There's lots of people that are like that. And lots of teams that are like that. It's man, we got to figure it out in practice. It looks good in practice, right? You hear that all the time. So hopefully they can get it right. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. As always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.